What's going on, traders? Welcome to this week's Forex forecast. If this is your first time to my channel and you want to try to grow your trading account and learn more about supply and demand, start now by hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos. So looking at the currency report for this week, not much has changed since last week. Looking at the COT reports, it still appears to me that they are still taking profits around these monthly supply and demand zones. So there will be some opportunities, but I am going to be looking for some pretty solid confirmation on most of these pairs. With that being said, let's start looking at the charts. Alright, looking at the US dollar, price has finally come into this monthly area of buying slash demand. I've talked about this area for quite a long time. I'm not sure if it's going to hold. It seems like a pretty decent buying area. Obviously, buyers picked up here, and what I'm expecting long term is for them to start accumulating a long position and for price to push back up here to that supply. Looking at the COT reports, it's pretty clear that they have been adding longs, the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, roughly. Not super aggressive because they are adding shorts as well. But, the reason they're adding shorts is because they want price to go down to this demand area. So I'm not surprised to see them adding both longs and shorts. And what I'm expecting next week on the COT reports is to see them start to add, not super aggressive, but I think that we will still continue to see them add longs on the US dollar. And with that being said, let's go look at the EURUSD, which is what we're going to trade. Alright, looking at EURUSD, if you want to see an in-depth analysis that goes into way more detail, I actually did a whole video dedicated to EURUSD very recently. So check, my last couple videos, you'll see it in there, and it'll go more in depth. But to basically break it down, we are headed to this monthly area of selling, basically the same area of demand on the DXY that I just showed you guys. We had a nice weekly zone created here, and actually a pretty nice daily zone. If you look, this supply was holding right here on the daily, and we had a very nice daily demand area created here. But do you really want to be buying down here as we get so close to this monthly area of supply? I don't know. It's a tough call. I kind of am expecting price to hang up here for a while, so I wouldn't be surprised if the banks are using this area to keep filling in their longs while they add shorts up above. So I might take a stab at this area. I'm not really sure. If I do, it'll be smaller risk than usual based on the fact that the higher time frame is in some sort of monthly supply area. And maybe I'll even look for a 1 hour confirmation or something. And if you look over on the bottom right screen here on the 4 hour, there's not much going on. On the 1 hour, this zone was broken, but it's pretty choppy right now. Nothing that I'm super in love with. There's a nice 4 hour zone right here, but if price does come down to this daily demand area, I would be looking for a confirmation trade, most likely, rather than just taking this whole daily area. Like I said, based on the fact that we are in that higher time frame supply area. Looking at the Aussie dollar, we are in this monthly area of supply. It is tested though, and why is it tested? Because of this candle close right here, this black candle right there, if you can see it on my screen on the top left. So it is tested, so I am not expecting this area to hold whatsoever. And if you look on the top right, this weekly area of demand has held very nicely, and the momentum is pretty clearly up. You could actually draw a trend line like this. It's not the greatest trend line, but I would draw that because clearly the momentum is up on the weekly. The force is pretty up. We are coming up this daily area of supply that I do not expect to hold. It's kind of a tough one on the Aussie dollar right now. And if we look at the COT reports that I'll pull up on the screen, they have gotten rid of some longs up here, and their exposure is 45% long to 55% short. So it's kind of a tough call. It's not. Do I really want to be trading this pair? I don't know. It's a tough call for sure. If price gets down to this weekly area down here, it's kind of looking the same as the euro. I'd probably look for a confirmation there because price has kind of moved away pretty far from it. But I could see price coming up to the 78 area, 77 area on the monthly chart. So I think it is a buy. It's just where are we going to be buying at? On the weekly, there's not much remove right here, so it's kind of tough to gauge. So maybe I will take a stab at this daily area and try to ride it up, to the 76, 77, 78 area. This area of demand it's pretty decent. it broke the range that it was in. So, if price comes down here, I might take a stab at that area. Looking at the British pound, something that I wanted to point out, and I actually called it out in the group. As you can see here, this 4-hour zone was responsible for breaking the whole weekly zone, and I called it out in the group, and look at the reaction off of it. Price is coming back down to that 4-hour demand right now, but that was an easy 2-to-1, 3-to-1 trade right there, and it was so strong because it broke this weekly area of supply that you see right here. And it's pretty crazy if you really keep track of your zones how important all of that is. So looking at the pound and looking at the COT reports, it's pretty clear that they have been getting rid of some of their shorts the past month and a half, and they've actually been adding longs pretty aggressively the past 2 weeks. And it's kind of what I'm thinking is taking place is if you see this downward trend line right here on the monthly on my top left screen, I think that retail traders are looking to short around this area. And the fact that they are adding longs around this area makes me think that they are using this trend line to fill all of their long orders for something like this. For price to come up here back to the 145 area to sell short again and to take profits on all their longs up here. So we'll have to really see what's taking place over the next couple weeks in the COT reports to really give us that extra confluence that they are adding more longs. And as far as the weekly goes, the momentum's clearly up. Same with the Aussie and the Euro. This area right here on the weekly is not demand yet. I just had it pre-drawn just to see what happens. What I'm hoping to take place is we get a nice candle close up here, and we'll have a decent area of demand right here that, if we are going to look to go long, that would probably be the best area, because in the daily, this zone is tested already. There's not much going on the daily. So on the pound, we're most likely going to have to wait to see what happens. USD Japanese yen, as you can see on these COT reports, the last couple weeks they have been adding pretty aggressively to their shorts on the pair, except for the 1 week where they got rid of 15,000 positions. But over the past month they've been adding shorts pretty consecutively, and even that 15,000 that they got rid of, they basically added it back the week after. In this past week's report, they actually added 8,000 short positions as we get into this monthly area of demand, as you can see on the top left corner of my screen. And we're seeing a reaction off of the zone already, and there's not much going on in this pair as far as like a shorting opportunity goes. There's not much going on. This daily demand I don't really trust. I personally think that will break. As far as a shorting opportunity, I don't really see anything up until this like 105.843 area on the daily, and the weekly just looks like shit. This pair is weird. But overall, I am pretty bullish on the Japanese yen. It's just tough to gauge where exactly to place a trade. There was a nice daily zone right here that you could have taken. That was an easy 3-to-1, 4-to-1. But as of now, it's kind of a waiting game. What I would really like to see in order to go short, even though we're in this monthly area of demand, is for price to push down here, maybe create a nice selling opportunity up here. And in order for me to go long, I would probably have to see, since the weekly's so choppy, I would really like to see a weekly, break of trend, which would be a push up here. But since it's so choppy, I would probably want to see something like this, where we break this trend line up here, maybe get a buying opportunity up here for price to come up higher. I just don't see that happening on the Japanese yen right now. It's definitely a tough one to gauge. USDCAD, as you can see, this monthly area of buying has now been removed, which has left us with this supply zone at the 1.317 area, and it's also a break of this trend line. So I am expecting the USDCAD to be falling, and what I'd like to see to go short would be for price to come up to here. Hopefully this whole candle will close, so it might take a month or two, but for price to come back up to here. And we are seeing weakness on the weekly chart as well, obviously. So we could actually draw a trend line like something like that. I'll definitely make this a little better later, but that's what I'm seeing as far as the weekly goes on the USDCAD. And I don't know if I have all, actually, yeah, I think I have all my zones updated over here, but this is what I see on the weekly. Some pretty decent weakness. And actually, we have another, you're basically going to be seeing me right now update all of my zones, which is good for you guys to see. So what I do in this situation is I just do that, extend it a little bit to the left, get rid of this green zone, and what do we have here? We have a nice daily supply zone right here at 1.2918. So it's pretty overextended. If price does come back up to here, ultimately I would prefer to short up here somewhere. I just don't know how far it's going to drop, especially since we have seen them add longs on the COT reports the last 2 weeks, as you can see right now. So it's kind of tough call. Hopefully they're adding longs in order to, you know, push price back up to this area, and maybe price will be hanging out around here. We'll get another COT report, and it'll be showing that they're actually adding more shorts, and that'll give us confidence to maybe take a short in this area and maybe in the area up above. What I might do is, you know, say if I want to risk 1% in this whole area, is split my position up in two, maybe take 50% here and 50% up here to eventually ride price down below. And there's not much demand down below, so I could see this pair fall quite a bit. And you know what that would mean is that the Canadian dollar is actually getting stronger. And if we look at oil looks like it's going to be strong headed into next year as well, in my opinion. So it could all be adding up. USD Swiss, we are penetrating this monthly area of demand even more so, but we're in this monthly demand, so I am expecting price to actually push up a little higher. I do think that we will go, you know, pretty decently lower, maybe down to this daily demand area. And as far as the weekly goes, there's not much down here at all whatsoever. So we're probably gonna have to see some sort of new zone, and in order for me to go long, I'm gonna have to really see a nice daily push higher. And there's not much supply up here, so it's really a tough call. Hopefully we'll see a nice daily demand created, and maybe this weekly supply or selling area over here that I see be removed in order to go long. And then the final target would be at about the 940 area. But as of now, it's definitely a tough call because, you know, they are majority short on this pair. But do you really want to be shorting right now after this huge rally and that we're sitting in monthly demand? It's kind of a tough call, right? Ultimately, you would rather be short than long. And, you know, maybe we're going to be seeing something like this, where this will create a nice monthly supply zone. So we could see moves lower. I'm kind of expecting that because we do have two monthly areas of demand right here, one here, and then this overall big one here that's been holding up price. So since this area of demand on the monthly was already penetrated pretty deeply, what I could see is something like this, where price pushes down, breaks this monthly area of demand, which then would create a supply zone like I just pointed out right here for a nice shorting opportunity. And I would probably take that, even though we are sitting in a monthly, or I wouldn't take the whole monthly supply, but obviously I'd look for some sort of confirmation, even though we are in this monthly area of buying and demand. But the reason I would take that is because since it's penetrated all the way down to here, if price does rally up to here, I could see it coming all the way down to, you know, the 8.7 area, right below where this has already been tested. So that's why I would take that in this situation, even though technically we would be shorting low on the curve. It just seems like an opportunity that might work out. We'll have to see in the future. Okay, looking at gold, XAUUSD. If you want a very detailed analysis on gold, check out one of my most recent videos. I did a full breakdown on gold, which I go in way more detail than I'm going to be going in here. But if you look at the COT reports here, look at this. This is what we want to see, baby. They got rid of 12,000 shorts and added 4,000 longs. That's what I want to see. Their max exposure long is 92%. So we still have room to grow, and as I'm saying that, we are in this area of monthly demand. So everything's looking great on gold. And if you look at my daily chart here, this is basically what I'm looking for a nice demand area set up here. But I'm not going to go into detail here. Check out my most recent video on gold. Last but not least is oil. Oil is sitting in this monthly area of supply, and there's a even better monthly area of supply up above at the 55 to 60 area. If you look at the 4-hour here, nice reaction off this 4-hour zone. I don't think it's going to hold. I actually kind of expect price to come down to this daily area of buying down here. And I've talked to some of the guys in the group. I am expecting a rally from this zone, even though we are in this monthly area of buying. And if you look at the call reports, they actually added 4,000 longs, but they actually added some shorts. So I don't know. It's tough to get. If you look at the week before too, they actually added 34,000 longs. So I am expecting price to move higher, but clearly they might be building a short position as well. Either that, or they're kind of holding price in this area by adding longs and shorts in order to keep price from moving up too high too fast. So if price does come down to this daily area, I think I'm going to take a stab at that. Not full risk, obviously, because we are sitting in this monthly area and with a downward trend line here. So it would be half risk, and maybe I'll even look for a 1-hour or 4-hour confirmation in this area to really give me evidence that buyers are stepping up in this area. And my final target would be at the 50, 55, maybe even 60 area. All right, everyone. Thanks again for watching this week's Forex forecast. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button as well, if you don't mind. I really appreciate all the support. Let me know in the comments down below what pairs you're looking at this week, and maybe we can get in touch and you can send me a chart and let me know what you're looking at. I always like looking at charts. So with that being said, let's have a great trading week and let's make some money. Cheers.